Entrepreneur. This is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. Welcome to this special presentation entitled 3 Direct Mail Marketing Tips You Should Probably Stop Ignoring. Otherwise, you're probably going to end up spending way more money than you should, and you're not going to make as much money as you're capable of making. Ladies and gentlemen, this video is going to point out 3 incredibly simple ways that you can and should systematically cash in every time you use direct mail. That's the goal here. However, there is a caveat. When it comes to using direct mail, here's where most small business owners and service providers miss the boat completely. We're not saying that just because you mail something out in the mail, you're using direct mail effectively. You know, if you go buy a list of names, nobody knows who you are, and you buy them in a certain zip code or based off a certain demographic or psychographic, and you mail it out and you get your customary 0.5 to 1%, you'd be lucky to get that. But if that's what you get, that, yeah, technically you can say you use direct mail, but that's exactly what we're trying to help you avoid. That is not using direct mail strategically the way you're going to learn in this video. Well, here's the first thing about using direct mail. First and foremost, entrepreneur, you got to get your own list. You have got to get in control of your own list. Now, you know this is true on and offline. And just for a moment, let's focus offline. Let's suppose you run a business that sells wines. And even though, let's say you're located in a high traffic little strip mall, you get a ton of traffic, you get a ton of repeat traffic, you get a ton of word of mouth, you get a ton of referrals. That's all good. You still need your own list. So these 3 strategies that are going to be laid out to you in this video are based on you having your own list. Now, if you don't have your own list, let me give you a simple strategy that it's old school, it's almost foolproof, it works 99.9999% of the time. I want you to set up in the middle of your store a huge display that's 2-sided, meaning no matter what side of the store is on, they can see this sign, and it simply says, big, bold, red letters, free drawing. And here's what you're going to offer. You're going to run this drawing, say, for 90 days or 4 months, about between 90 and 120 days, collecting names, and here's what it's going to say. The grand prize winner is going to win 1 bottle for your wine of the month. Your wine in a month club. So in other words, whoever this person is or this couple, if they're chosen as a grand prize winner, they're going to be able to get 1 free bottle of wine, their choice, and you put a value on it, once every month for 12 months. Now, you're also going to have 5 second prize grand prize winners. It's a little different. Here's what they're going to win. They're going to win 30% off their next 3 purchases of any wines, and you give them half off for their birthday. Now, here's the reasoning behind this. You're just trying to get the word out. Remember, when they get this wine, these people get this wine a month, they're probably going to give a few more social events, you know what I mean? And whenever they can, they'll whip this bottle of wine out and say, hey, we won this at such and such and such a place. So it's getting the word out. You got social media now, don't forget that. So they can Facebook and tweet about it and on and on and on. Now you're going to have 4 third prize winners, and what you do is give them, say, 25% off their next purchase, because everybody's got to get something for participating. So the point is, everybody is going to win something, but 10 of the people, 1 grand prize winner, 5 second prize, and 4 third prizes, they're really going to help you get the word out. So that's the first thing. Now, based on that, now saying that we established the fact that you got to have your own list. Now we're going to take a look at these direct mail marketing tips, and here's tip number 1. Whenever you can, entrepreneur, you got to segmentize your list. And here's what we're talking about. We're going to segmentize it into 2 basic categories. Now, there's more than 2, but here's the 2 primary you're going to focus on. The first is your 20%ers. In other words, you know how they tell you 20% of your customer base brings in 80% of the revenue? That's correct. That's one part of your list. Now, here's the other part. Your ex-customers, and I put clients on there because if you're a service, this can apply to you too. But now notice what you don't see on these 2 categories. New customers. We're not going to focus on trying to get new customers with direct mail. So in other words, you're not going to go buy some list from some broker based on some demographic and mail something out trying to get people to come to your store. That's not what we're doing here. And that's the first thing I want to make clear here. The fact that we're eliminating that, that's going to save you a whole lot of money. That's why you're using that free drawing to create a database. You know what most of your competitors are trying to do? They're trying to run ads. They're using direct mail, and they're trying the hardest thing, which is to create a new first-time customer. And as you know from listening to any of these videos and several other qualified marketing sources, the most expensive customer or client is the first one, because it takes typically 500% more effort, money, and resources to get them. So we're going to bypass that, because you're going to actually use this free drawing concept, and you're going to have this wine of the month where they win. Now, here's the next thing about direct mail. And this is direct mail marketing tip number 2. And this is huge, entrepreneur. Most of your small competitors, small business owners, and service providers don't realize this. Ladies and gentlemen, every month that your customer doesn't hear from you, you and I, you lose about 10% of your overall effectiveness. Did you know that? So do the math. In 6 months, if they haven't heard from you, that's now 60% less chance of you closing a sale with them. Now, what's 60 minus 100? That leaves 40. There's now a 40% chance. And that's based on this, if it's 6 months out. So the point of, if you're not really getting this direct mail marketing tip number 2, you got to use frequency. So that means you need to institute a postcard. Now again, we're talking about your 20%ers and your ex-customers, not trying to get and entice new first-time business. I want to be crystal clear about that. So I don't want any emails from anybody. You want to stay in contact with your customers, your 20%ers, and your ex-customers, because ex-customers, a certain percentage of them, can be brought back into the fold. We're not concentrating on new customers at this point. And we're also, let me throw this in, and I hate saying this, but let's face it, we're not talking about your high maintenance customers either, or clients. You know who they are. We're not mailing to them for these particular strategies. So keep that in mind. You're going to lose 10% of your overall effectiveness every month they go without hearing you. Now, here's direct mail marketing tip number 3, and I want to throw a big caveat, and that's this. You better test what I'm saying. First of all, any and everything you hear from Mr. Marketing, you don't take as gospel. You inexpensively test. But I am telling you up front, what you're about to hear from me now, you better test this. Because if what I'm telling you turns out to be the exact opposite, then you go with the opposite. So I do not want any emails from you guys. I'm telling you up front, TEST, what I'm about to tell you next. And that's simply this. If you're considering, or if you currently are mailing, say, a newsletter, we're talking again offline, physical newsletter. Entrepreneur, you're probably better off mailing that newsletter once a month instead of once every 3 months. Now, let me also take this another way and show you what I'm saying. Let's suppose you have a catalog that's kind of expensive and you got a lot of customers. It costs you a lot of money to mail every month. I get that. So here's what we're saying in that sense. If you have a catalog that you mail to your customers and clients once a year, try mailing it once every 90 days. So in other words, 4 contacts a year instead of 1. And let me tell you something else and share with you. And again, you got to test this, and you probably test and you will find out that this is true. But I want you to stop and think about something. Let's suppose you've been currently mailing your newsletter once every 3 months. Guess what your competitors are doing? They're mailing once every month. Now you do the math. Your customer has heard from your competitors 3 times before they heard from you the first time. I think you see the problem there. So ladies and gentlemen, hopefully these simple 3 direct mail marketing tips will help you move from losing money to making money with your direct mail efforts going forward in the future. Now, on that note, For those of you who want to discover how you're going to add an additional 25% more gross profit to your bottom line and do it in the next 90 days or less without having to add any new customers or clients, entrepreneur, grab that free 9-page special report. Just head over to youcanmarketonlinenow.com/sales to get it. This is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. We'll see you again next time on the Marketing Minute.